Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kirsti, and in today's video, I'm sharing with you two super delicious recipes. I'm really excited for today's video because this video is in collaboration with Maegen over at Maegen's Kitchen. I know that most of you probably already know Maegen, but if you don't, definitely go check out her channel. She shares a lot of similar content to me. She shares what's for dinners, grocery hauls, and she even shares what's for lunch recipes, which I am loving that series that she has started, because sometimes when you're making lunches you kind of get in a rut and you just don't know what to make. So make sure you go check out her video and her channel. I will have both of them linked down in the description box below. And thank you, Maegen, for collaborating with me on today's video. The first recipe we are making today is homemade chicken and dumplings. To my large pot here, I melted about a tablespoon of butter. Now I'll add in some carrots that I diced. And some red onion that I also diced very thinly. And you want to let this cook down for about 5 to 7 minutes, just until these veggies get a little tender. After letting that simmer, you can add in your chicken broth. After adding that in, you do want to let this simmer and come up to a slight boil. And while we wait for this to boil, let's go ahead and make our dumplings. For the dumplings, I'm making my mother-in-law's recipe. So thank you, Cheryl, for sharing this recipe with me. I need 2 cups of flour, 2 eggs beaten with a little bit of salt, half a cup of chicken broth, and 1 large spoonful of shortening. To mix this together, I'm just going to use my hands, and it'll kind of make like a dough. With these dumplings, you want them to be spread out pretty thin. I may go ahead and get out my rolling pin. Yeah, let me go get that real quick. Once you get that rolled out to the desired thickness that you like, just take a knife and start cutting strips. Now, as you can see, that's a pretty long strip. So what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll just cut those in half. Or maybe even 4. It's just, if you're cooking it for little kids, you know, you can make them smaller. If it's just for adults, kind of like me and my husband, we can handle them a little bit bigger. Before we add in our dumplings to our boiling broth, I want to add in a little bit of heavy whipping cream and a few squares of cream cheese. And I'll just let this sit here and simmer until that cream cheese gets nice and melty. I just gave this a taste to see if I needed any extra seasonings, so I'm adding in a little bit of pepper and some Kinder's garlic and herb. Let's add in our dumplings just a little at a time. My mother-in-law did say that once she gets her dumplings in the broth, she lets them cook or boil for about 10 minutes or so. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. Kirsti, this is chicken and dumplings, so where is your chicken? Well, I got it right here. I decided to shred up a rotisserie chicken, and mainly one reason I did that is 1, convenience for sure, but 2, my husband is not a fan of the taste or the texture of boiled chicken, and so in order to convince him to have this meal, I said, well, what if we just bought a rotisserie chicken and I shredded it up like that? And he agreed because he likes rotisserie chicken. But of course, if y'all don't want to do that, you can boil your own chicken and make it yourself. And you can also use that same broth from boiling your chicken. That's how my mother-in-law does it. But like I said, I'm just doing this for convenience and for my husband. I'm putting a lid on here just to let this sit here and simmer and let that chicken get infused with all those yummy flavors from the broth. And then we'll be ready to eat. And that's what we're having for dinner tonight, homemade chicken and dumplings. Y'all, that recipe turned out so good and so cozy. To me, fall is definitely the best time to make that recipe. For our second recipe, we are making bacon wrapped stuffed chicken. I'm starting out by getting our cream cheese stuffing mixture ready. So here in this mixing bowl, I just have a block of cream cheese. And for us, I'm adding in some green onions, and some pickled jalapenos, once you get that well combined, we can start in on our chicken. With the chicken, we're just cutting a pocket inside. So you're not wanting to slice it all the way through, just almost all the way through. Then we have a little pocket. You can make it a little bit bigger if you need to. And then we'll just put the cream cheese stuffing right inside. And then the best part is that we get to wrap it in some bacon. Now, my chicken breasts are actually pretty thick, so I think mine are probably going to take about 2 strips of bacon. Yep, I think 2 will do just great. And now we'll put this on our baking sheet. After getting all my chicken on the baking sheet, I like to sprinkle with a little bit of pepper. Bake this in a 375-degree oven for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you can turn your broiler on and go for another 5 minutes just to get that bacon on top nice and crispy. And that's what we're having for dinner tonight, bacon wrapped stuffed chicken, and I just made some sweet potatoes and green beans to go on the side. Y'all, I just don't think you can go wrong with wrapping anything in bacon, but that recipe did turn out really great. The chicken was super tender, and if you don't like spicy things, you don't have to stuff it with jalapenos. You can really stuff it with any of your favorite ingredients. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me in the kitchen today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. I would love it if you are new here to subscribe and stick around. Leave me a comment down below on which recipe you think your family would love the most. Thank you, Megan, again for collaborating with me on this video, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.